speaker is Professor Wang Sixin. Professor Wang Sixin is the Deputy Dean of the Institute for a Community with Shared Future at the Communication University of China. He is a member of the Council of the China Society for Human Rights Studies and member of the International Advisory Committee of the Kathmandu School of Law, University of Purbanchal. He currently concentrates his academic study on internet governance and basic theories of mass communication law. He was an author of 2 monographs under the titles of Freedom of Expression in Cyberspace and Freedom of Expression Principles and the Many Uses, and the author of over 100 published academic articles in different journals. He will be speaking on the topic China Global Development Initiative and Way Forward for the International Community.
My dear friends, I'm very glad to participate in this conference and thank you for inviting me to participate. My name is Wang Sixin from the Institute for a Shared Future for My Kind, CUC, Communication University of China. Today my topic is China Global Development Initiative and Way Forward for the International Community. I understand this topic into 2 parts. They closely related to each other. One part is China Global Development Initiative, and another part is the way forward for the international community. To understand the China Global Development Initiative is quite difficult, for it includes many things. It's a really huge topic. We can discuss from many perspectives. For the reason of time, I'd like to take the opportunity to share what I understanding of the China Global Development Initiatives. For you and many others knows, China developed its economy, develop its other things quite well, and the Chinese government and also the CPC, China Communist Party, declared that we experienced a way of modernize ourselves. We called the Chinese way modernizations. Of course, the Chinese way of modernize itself share many common characteristics with the other countries, but what we emphasized mostly is the difference, how the Chinese modernized itself in a quite different way with the other countries, especially the United States. And because we modernized ourselves in this way, of course we will very appreciate it, and we will insist in this way to continue our business. There are many perspectives about the Chinese way of modernized itself, but I think the most important character is the Chinese modernized itself peacefully. The Chinese people, the Chinese government really loved peace. Peace is rooted in our mind, is rooted in our daily life, and it also will be serve a very important we deal with the international affairs, especially when we confront with the conflict with the neighboring countries, or when we think about the domestic affair like the Taiwan issues, of course, how to maintain the a stable situation, how to resolve the problem in a very peaceful way will become the most important perspective of the Chinese government and the Chinese people to adopt it. It means we will try our best to maintain the stability between our own domestic affair as well as the international affair. This is also a good way to understand why the Chinese insist to construct a shared future for mankind, because we think the peace is not very important for China, for the Chinese people, but also for the world. And the Chinese people and Chinese government also realized only based on a peaceful situation, a peaceful environment, a good relationship with the other countries, we can develop ourselves. Otherwise, we will lose the opportunity to develop ourselves. So in many cases, when we check many policies, many activities launched by the Chinese government, the first and the important things is the China will try its best to maintain the international and the territorial stability, to maintain the peace, because China wants to construct a shared future for mankind. The most important things is to keep the world in order, not only the Chinese affair, especially for the Taiwan issues, but also for the neighboring countries. And based on this, do business with Chinese people, do business with Chinese government, as we only insist on the principle of mutual benefit. We only insist in the model of win-win model. You win, I win, all we win, because we are good neighbors, we are one families, we are one villages. This idea emphasized many times in the speaks made by our president, made by the Chinese government. So the Chinese government will insist this principle to deal with the international issues and domestic issues, not only with the country, our brothers countries like Pakistan, and also with the United States. Yes, maybe you all know in the past, the United States launched many wars against China, and many of the U.S. company also participates to help the U.S. government. But the Chinese government, for the concern of maintaining a good economic relationship with the companies of the United States, even the governments of the United States, we tolerate many things. We not revenge the U.S. companies in the way that the United States treats our companies, like Huawei, as well as many Chinese companies. Yes, of course, lots of Chinese claimed that we should treat the U.S. company like the way that U.S. treat our government. But the Chinese government thinks that we should give good information for the outside world, should give promising information to the other companies who want to do business in China. So in China, or from the start point of the Chinese government, is what we most appreciate is to develop ourselves and at the same time help the other countries to develop themselves. We love peace. We try our best to create the opportunities for us as well as our friends to have the ability to have a good life. Thank you for all. That's all my speaks. Thank you.